higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast, Taxing with Glen Birnbaum. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Dawson Tire and Wheel, your premier ag tire and wheel provider in North America, helping people grow. And Tractor Zoom, delivering insights. Also the official work suite of the Moving Iron Podcast, Dry Shod Boots. Glen is a CPA with Heindel Banford out of East Peoria, Illinois, and Glen is nice enough to be on the Moving Iron Podcast because he delivers a great message about all the ongoings in the tax world right now, and there's plenty of stuff happening right now, Glen. So we've been at least probably spent three podcasts on the SBA, kind of what's going on with the SBA small business loans, what we see happening there, and of course, like any other tax thing that comes out or government IRS regulation that comes down, they change the rules about 33 times before they finally get it right. And this is no different than usual. So I guess then talk about what's happening here. So kind of set the table here a little bit. Last night, 12 o'clock Eastern time, midnight, they opened up the application process for all the banks across the United States to start applying for the small business administration loans that are out there. And lo and behold, right before then, they're like, oh, nope, got to change a different form and do this and do that. So I guess, Glenn, talk about some of the regulations, some of the clarifications that you got, and some of the stuff that you see happening with new forms and things that they've got to fill out.
Yeah, it's good to be on again here. So we got to do our timestamp. It's about 8:50 Central in the morning on Friday, April 3rd, which is the first day that this program is supposed to be open. There was quite a bit of chatter yesterday about are they actually going to be open, and I'm still not 100% sure. But Secretary Mnuchin did just indicate about 15 minutes ago that I think already $400 million has been appropriated, committed. So that's out of $349 billion. So apparently there are things in the works, but it is pretty dependent on your bank. So we just want to kind of do a quick hit here on what's different. So yesterday, Thursday, April 2nd, about 6 p.m., they came out with some regulations, some kind of preliminary regulations on this, about 30 pages or so. One of the things in there was they're going to make the interest rate. We had said a 0.5% interest annual rate. I think last time we talked, now they're going to make it 1%. So little change there, but they tried to work through some examples and things, maybe got a little bit of clarity on, I think what most people think now, although it's not in the regs, is that a sole proprietor is somebody that has employees. And so a sole proprietor can apply today. But a self-employed individual, which again, most are thinking doesn't have employees, they may not be able to apply till a week from now, April 10th. So obviously, check with your lender. They're the ones in charge on this. Your tax accountant, your accountant can help too, but ultimately it is the lender determining these things. So anyway, we do have a little bit of guidance, 6 p.m. last night. Now about 10 p.m. last night, again, this is all through tweets. Secretary Mnuchin just tweeting this out. He says, hey, now there's a revised borrower application. It's not a whole lot different, but there is definitely some differences. There's some additional representations. Some of the questions are a little different, the certification kind of questions and that. So anybody that, tried to fill it out yesterday, which, several people a lot of people were trying to fill it out to the best of their ability. They basically have to kind of refill it out this morning or late last night. So anyway, just know that there is a new form out there. So if it was after 10 o'clock or before 10 o'clock yesterday that you filled it out, it's probably a little bit different. It does say, I believe at the lower left corner, it says like 0420 or something, April of 2020, I believe. So that's one thing going on is we have a new application.
Okay. Is there anything else out there, Glenn, with all these craziness happening right now that guys need to be aware of?
Well, the main thing is try to talk to your banker. There is, this is more for the lenders, but they do have now a new 2-page kind of lender application that the lender actually submits. And again, the borrower doesn't have to sign that, just the lender does, but it does give you, it's at that same kind of website at the U.S. Treasury. It does give you an idea of what the bank's going to have to submit. So, how much documentation are they going to have to submit? It does say, they're supposed to provide some sort of documentation, whether that be payroll tax returns or whatever. So we're not sure on that, but again, that is just between the lender and the SBA on that. So, there's questions about how do you sign these forms, right? Electronically, how does this work? Do you have to use the portal? And so again, you just have to talk to your lender, and, they're kind of setting the rules, I think, to some degree. They have a little bit of discretion on, will they have a portal set up or what have you. So you just, you've got to check with your lender and see how they want you to submit it, and if they even can accept it today.
Okay. All right, Glenn. Well, another crazy week behind us here, and I'm sure there'll be another crazy week ahead of us. So if folks want to reach out to you and ask you some questions about what's going on, or just see what kind of band work is all about, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, you can always call me at the office here, 309-694-4251. And if you ask for me, it'll ring to my cell phone, or you can look me up on Twitter at Glen Birnbaum is my handle.
And I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Moving Iron LLC, also movingironllc.com. Check out all the good stuff there as far as blog posts go, and just also check out the Moving Iron Podcast there as well. Make sure you check out the Global Ag Network and great podcasters there. And I guess there's a silver lining in here somewhere, and I'm sure we're going to find it. And it's right at home, so everyone keep your heads on a swivel and keep your heads up. So next time, Casey Seymour with Glen Birnbaum. Let's move some iron, folks. Out.
Moving iron in the 21st century.